All right.
Emergency episode. Emergency. Help.
Emergency. That is, we're like 2 days late.
We're 2 days late, but we had a lot of stuff going on this weekend. But it's
I
good.
actually,
It's good to jump on.
I actually think it's a good thing because like I'd rather it's been 2 days. We have time to like think and process the
Yeah.
everything and not be like everyone else on the internet who's just like so reactionary.
Yeah. Also, I feel like in the last this really all went down. Everybody will know what we're talking about, but this all really went down like what was it, Thursday evening, Friday,
Uh,
um,
yeah,
and I feel like the developments we've had on Saturday have been really important to the whole kind of fiber of the story. So we'll go through all of it. But I actually feel like I'm glad we gave this the weekend to discuss it because so many details have come out since. We're obviously referring to the comments that Rafael Devers made and how that impacts the clubhouse and the Red Sox and all the above. But I feel like over the last 24 hours, even there's been new developments that have changed my opinion on the story.
yeah, yeah. So
Uh,
to just quickly recap for anyone who's not super plugged in on it, obviously Devers made the move from third base to DH when Alex Bregman got signed. And then obviously very recently Tristan Casas blew out his knee
mm-hmm.
at first. So we don't have a starting first baseman. We've talked about on the last week's episode why we thought Devers should be a good fit for that. And I guess Craig Breslow asked Devers, and
Yeah.
he said emphatically that no, he did not want to play first base.
And that he was
Uh,
insulted that they asked him.
and he was like, I don't know what Craig Breslow, like what issue he has with me asking me to play around, move everywhere. I feel like the Red Sox have gone back on their word. These are all things that he said through a translator. Um, and so obviously Boston media has been up in a, you know,
A tizzy.
yeah, about it. And some Red Sox fans are like, fuck Devers, he's not being a team player. Other people are like, he should play first. Either way, the owner of the team, John Henry, came out to Kansas City with Sam Kennedy and Breslow to meet with Devers one on one, which is not does not usually do that.
Yeah.
So they had a very productive meeting apparently, and then Devers like kind of exploded this weekend in the series against the Royals.
Yeah, he's tearing the cover off the
Like what?
exploded isn't even the right like he's hitting like a fucking like Barry Bonds right
He
now.
hit like two bombs, right? Like he hit.
Yeah, and he was like 3 for 5 every game.
I
I can
think
pull
it
up
was
his
five for
numbers.
five.
Yeah, let me pull up his numbers.
He hit one today that was like 440 feet.
Crazy.
So fuck it. I mean, hey, Craig Breslow, keep asking Devers to move around the
Yeah.
diamond and get his ass worked up, and
Yeah,
he'll
he hit a
bombs.
450-foot home run
Yeah,
today. It's the longest home run of the major leagues so far.
yeah. I mean, that part's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
unreal.
but yeah, I mean, we were talking a little bit as this whole thing was kind of playing
Unfolding.
out. I could not believe what I was reading, the quotes that I was reading from Devers when when they were coming out.
Yeah. I just this is one of those things where negative news in some ways. So Devers, just real quick on the series,
Yeah.
he was 1 for 5, 4 for 4. So he's 5 for 9, and then today he was 2 for 3. So
Okay.
what is that? 5 for 9. So he's 7 for 12. 7 for 12, bro. That's crazy. It's like
That's crazy.
550
Yeah.
with like 3 homers. Yeah, insane. So I think it's really interesting because when Red Sox news, especially this early in the season, and the Red Sox haven't been good for the last 3 or 4 seasons, like when Red Sox news becomes everyone in baseball talking about it news, that's always
Yeah.
interesting. So I have all my friends in LA who are baseball fans on my team. They're all Dodgers fans, all texting me, dude. Devers fucking, what is he doing? He's an asshole. Or the Red Sox are like, I've had like 15 texts from people that are not Red Sox fans,
Yeah.
um, which is always just interesting. It sort of reminds me of Houston, where I'm not an Astros fan, but when they got caught cheating, I'm texting all my Astros friends like, dude, what's
Yeah.
up? That's crazy. Um, I think it's a bad look on both parties for a variety of reasons. I'm still, if what even 70% of what is reported to have been said, and obviously the translator thing is a new development in this, but
Hmm.
if even 70% of what has been said is his intention to say it, it's a really bad look on him, in my opinion. I think it's a really bad look. I don't know. I mean, we'll get into the weeds of it more. I know we're still introducing the topic, but I have been very disappointed this weekend.
Yeah. I think I mean, I think the Red Sox as an organization, their ability or their inability to communicate appropriately with their players and with the public is just like very well
It's
documented.
a disaster. It's a
I,
disaster.
they
Yeah.
really like they need to hire like I can't finish up my PR grad program fast enough for these guys.
Yeah,
Like
they
it's
need I mean, they need fucking J Lo's publicist
they
or
need
something.
someone there to like talk for Craig Breslow or
Yeah.
like to both to players and to us because like this is not good. Yeah, I think the Red Sox organization like I think they fucked this up in that they fucked up with when they signed Bregman and
Mm-hmm.
they had that miscommunication with Devers about telling him he was going to be the third baseman like all
Mm-hmm.
season and not, I guess, having him clued into the fact they were going to try and acquire Bregman or Arenado. So like that is really like where most of their mistakes happen. I don't think like, and I think most of the mistakes in this case, like I think everything the Red Sox did wrong, they did wrong back in February. I think
Yeah.
Devers is the one who's done something wrong now.
And yeah,
Um,
I would agree
and those
completely.
two things are just happening to like hit each other at the same time because um there's like I'm gonna just like zero in on this one like piece of what Devers said the other day. He said I don't feel like they, being the Red Sox, stayed
Hmm.
true to their word. They
Yeah.
told me I was going to be playing this position DH, and now they're going back on that. So I just don't think they've stayed true to their word. And it's like, brother, Craig Breslow didn't wake up today and decide that, oh, you should play first base.
That
Our
yeah,
first baseman blew his goddamn knee out.
that is a
Like,
downright silly, egregious
like
quote.
this is an emergency. He's asking you out of like desperation. He's
Yeah,
not
that
asking
that
you
is
to
egregious. And
like,
then his follow-up response of you should do your job and go get someone on the market. To me, if I hear that if I'm on the Red Sox and I'm in the clubhouse and I hear that, I'm like, fuck this asshole. Like this
yeah,
guy doesn't give a shit about winning. He just wants to pad his stats. Like, and the fact that he's even hitting so well right now, like that might even piss me off more. I'm like, wow, fuck this guy. Like that's crazy, you know?
yeah, I mean, from what I've read, like there's kind of a division in the clubhouse. I think some
Yeah.
players have been like, "Hey, stop talking."
Yeah, I
I
heard
mean,
an unnamed veteran. There was an unnamed veteran that went up to him and literally said, "quote Stop
I
talking."
mean, that is, I mean, quite literally, that narrows it down to like Ref Snyder, Story,
It's Trevor Story.
Bregman. It's definitely Story because
It's
Bregman's not gonna,
definitely Trevor. Bro, Trevor Story is the de facto captain of this team.
yeah,
Like, I think everybody listens to him.
and Bregman's not gonna do anything to
No,
cross Devers because he's the one who replaced him at third in the first place. So like,
no, it's
it's
Trevor Story.
almost certainly Trevor Story, and I think Trevor Story's like kind of right. The biggest problem
Absolutely.
here is that this is happening publicly. Like this is not something that we should have ever known about.
No,
It was just
no,
it was
this is bad.
it's really bad. It's really embarrassing for the club. It raises a lot of questions about like are Cora and Breslow on the same page? Because Cora clearly didn't want to ask Devers.
Yeah,
He
he
says
said
much.
specifically, "We're very happy with him at DH."
And then
So,
Breslow goes to like, and Breslow says it's like a preliminary thing, and like I'm like if it whether it was or it wasn't doesn't really change anything.
mhm.
But it's like that's not a conversation that you as like I get that you're a former ball player, but like that you as chief baseball officer as GM like you don't have conversations with players about where they're playing. Like
not
that's just
it's
not your
not
job.
it's not your business. Yeah, it's not your
Um,
job.
and I, yeah, so like
But
that's not great.
in this case, I agree with you. However, this is a different and a unique scenario for three reasons. Number one, obviously, the Tristan Casas thing is like out of anyone's
Yeah,
control, out of anyone's prediction. And then Romy Gonzalez gets injured. So it's
yeah,
like this is not even like a your backup is available. Like we called up Abraham Toro, who, ironically enough, this all went down Thursday. Now I'm remembering because Friday was the first game against the Royals.
yeah,
In extra innings, Abraham Toro was our last out with runners in scoring position, and he couldn't get the job done. And so you're looking at that and you're like, fucking hell. Like if we had someone who could be more productive at that position, or if we could have brought in a DH and had Devers play there and have him in the lineup, like to me, that was so like quintessential team falling apart. And the guy that you don't want, it's not Toro's fault, but like the guy that probably shouldn't be up there
yeah,
gets the last out in a big moment. But so that's part two. Part three, which we've discussed on this podcast, is like, what the fuck first basemen are available right now?
yeah.
The only one that you brought up that has any merit to his name is Rhys Hoskins, and I don't think he's leaving. I don't think they're going to do that trade because they're
Yeah.
competitive. So, in my opinion, it's like when he's saying, "Oh, just go get someone on the market, do your job." Dude, this is a unique situation where
Yeah.
like the only free agent first baseman has now been locked up. Like there isn't really any other option.
But I think Breslow is also doing like in approaching Rafi about this, he's doing the same thing that you and I talked about and that everyone else like who talks about the Red Sox has talked about, which is that moving Rafi to first as a roster move actually unlocks a lot of opportunity for the
Yes.
team, whether it's Yoshida, whether it's Roman Anthony.
Marcelo Meyer, there's a million.
Making a move to bring in another DH only clogs things up further.
Yeah.
Uh and like I think I don't know, that's just like its own frustration as well. It
I
really
do
does.
think this is a baseball move. Like this is a roster construction move, not just a baseball move. So in this case, I would usually agree with you. Craig Breslow is not the guy who's supposed to be like the whole Billy Bean thing in Moneyball, where David Justice is like, I've never seen a GM talk to players like this.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different because there's a huge logjam in a number of other positions, and there's actually like a very clear way to fix that right
Yeah.
now. And it's, hey, I need you to play first base so that we can get like we can have a competitive ball club. Like that actually is a roster construction discussion. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And I totally get the criticism that like, oh, well, like, why did Breslow not build any organizational depth at first? And it's like that's a very fair criticism. We don't live in the world where he did build us depth in that position, like we live in this one. A, B, he did have a situation like at first base figured out. It was Casas and
He
Gonzalez.
actually had two pretty decent first basemen, and they both got injured.
So like again, this is a freak like
It's just a
accident that's
huge,
happened.
yeah,
I think it just boils down to, again, like I think playing first is not going to be easy. Rafi's not going to pick it up immediately.
hmm,
He said himself he's like a very slow learner. I mean, we saw that with DH where he was 0 for like 21.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, it's like, dude, you have to be a team player.
yeah,
You
and
have to
I
be like a grown up and be like, yeah, what do you need from me in this moment? Oh, we're down like a guy who's supposed to be one of our biggest bats. Like, what can I do to help this situation? Like,
and like let's look at historical players as a part of the Red Sox organization who in their time with the Red Sox or post being on the Red Sox have done this. Obviously the first example everyone goes to is Mookie Betts, right?
yeah,
Mookie Betts came up as a second baseman. Dustin fucking Pedroia is there at second base. They're like, dude, you're either never going to play
right.
or you're not going to get the amount of innings that you want. Can you play right field? A position that he did
Yeah.
not play in the minor leagues, and he became a fucking Gold Glove right fielder.
I think
Now he's playing shortstop.
yeah. I think there is like a bit there where it's like Mookie Betts is just generally a better athlete than Rafael Devers.
Absolutely, but he was willing to
Yeah,
if Devers' comments, and this we'll get into the translator thing, if his comments are actually, I'm down, I'm just going to need a month to figure out how to do it, or 2 months even. If he said,
yeah,
like, hey, I'm down, but I need until August, I would be like, okay, that kind of sucks, but I totally understand. But he
yeah,
was just like, nah, like, I'm not. I mean, you sent me that meme of like the text, like, yo, we're shorthanded tonight. And Devers is
yeah,
like, nah, I'm good, bro. Like, it does come off that way a little bit. However, the other example that I always go to, someone who historically hasn't been a great fielder and isn't also is a good athlete, probably better than Devers, but nowhere near at the level of Mookie Betts. Xander Bogaerts came up as a third baseman
yeah.
and moved to shortstop. I don't know where he was in the minor leagues, but he played his first two major league seasons at third base.
Yeah. I actually think the best like example for like what we're talking about in this instance, I think, is actually Kevin Youkilis, who
Yeah,
started at
definitely.
third. Then we traded for Mike Lowell, and it was like,
Moved him
oh,
at
Mike
first.
Lowell's a much better third baseman. You're moving to first.
And he became a stud first baseman.
Yeah, much better first baseman than a third baseman.
And
Um,
I bring up Bogarts for a similar reason. Like moving third to shortstop is a way harder position to learn than first base. I played
yeah,
first base at a very competitive level, and like I've talked about it on this show. Like I take a lot of pride in defensive first baseman being good at defense. I think
yeah,
it's really really important. However, I'm not going to front and say that it's harder to play than shortstop or third base. Like it is probably the second easiest position to learn besides left field. I think left
yeah,
field maybe sans the green monster, but he can figure it out. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't. The bullshit I can't stand is like, I mean, it's so funny how like the scene from Moneyball has like really rooted itself in this
Totally,
controversy
it's
of like,
extremely difficult. Yeah,
and everyone's like, and there are people who are like, oh, that scene like it's actually not that hard. Oh, actually, it's harder. Like, and I can't stand like the people who are like, well, it's not just, he's gonna have to learn the picks and the cutoffs. I'm like, okay, picks is one thing. Cutoffs, it's just the same as third base. You just flip it.
Yeah,
You just
you're the
flip it on
cutoff
the
to
other side of the
home
field,
from
mother.
center.
Like,
You're the cutoff to home from center and right field. That's it.
like
That is the only cutoff. You're the
I mean,
cutoff to home from center and right. That's it.
yeah, but it's like
Not that
literally
hard.
whatever you were doing on that other corner,
Yep.
just do it on this corner.
Yeah,
Mirror it.
it's not hard.
I mean, like,
You're the only two. Again, I played at a very competitive level that position. The only cutoffs you have are going home from center field and right field. That's
yeah,
it. You don't have to
picks,
back anybody up. You got to back up the pitcher's mound if there's a pass ball. That's it.
yeah, picks and pickoffs are both things that I think. Okay, those are actually things that like
Picks are hard. Picks are hard.
Devers
That's
is
hard to
gonna
learn.
have a hard time with that. Getting guys on like. I mean, I've also noticed this season. We don't pick off often.
No,
Like,
but also just for the picks thing, real quick.
yeah,
Third base is the best position. Catcher maybe too, because you pick the ball in the dirt a lot. But third base is probably the next best position to translate to first base because the balls. I was reading something about this on. It was like a post on TikTok, and I was reading the caption about this situation. The balls that get smacked down the line at third base, the way that if you're backhanding a ball, obviously as a right-handed thrower, is going to be a lot like a pick in the dirt. So he's actually used to making that. It's like the backhand motion at third base down the line is the same footwork that it would take to cover the bag and like backhand pick a ball. So he's going to be relatively used to that. Reading the ball out of people's hands is obviously difficult. It's not easy. No one's saying it is, but the answer has to be, in my opinion, I'll give it a shot. And if he sucks, dude, if he goes out for fucking 10 games and makes like 10 errors, fine. Move him off the bag. Like, that's fine,
But we've also talked about how, like, the cost benefit of the errors that Rafi Devers might commit at first versus the runs potentially added by putting Yoshida or Roman Anthony into this lineup. I think that balances itself out.
I would agree.
I think if there's even, Romy Gonzalez is not going to be injured for very long. He's not, it's not the same kind of injury as like Casas. He's not out for the year. He'll be back. I think with either him or with Toro, you just like make it a platoon situation. Like Devers doesn't have to start every day at first. He can start, if there are 5 games this week, he can start 3 of them at first or 2 of them at first. And then on the days where he is at first, that's when Yoshida can like, be in the DH spot theoretically. Like we don't have to like, put Devers in this position for all of the games. We can work up to it. We can get, comfortable with it. If that's what it takes. I just like I really am I think frustrated by how just quickly he shut it down in this instance.
That's kind of where I was going with that. Like, why is your first response fuck no? That's like if someone's like, hey, can you do me a favor? If you called me and you're like, yo, I really need help with something, and I'm like, hey, I'm really busy, but like maybe, like that's a better response than immediately without even any context, hey, I really need you. Fuck no. Like that's like literally what he got. Fuck that. Like that's kind of crazy. I don't know. It's like,
I think he's wrong for like lumping this in with the other way.
It's very different. It's very different.
And I get that like Chaim Bloom at the time of the contract signing promised him he'd only play third. But like I also don't care. Like that was also a dumb promise for Chaim Bloom to make.
That's not his promise to make. And also Rafi, what I don't really understand, I actually thought Devers would be like chomping at the bit to do this,
to get back in the field. Yeah,
that's the thing, because his comment in spring training, one of the main reasons, if I recall correctly, that he didn't want to be DH is because he likes to be in the field. He keeps him in the game. He said that I like to be in the game. I like to be involved. Bro, this is doing that from just the other side of the diamond. And you know what's ironic? I bet you money. I would bet you money I don't have that Bregman would volunteer himself to play first base. Like, I bet you he would be the first guy to be like, fucking fine, just like you play third and I'll fucking play first. And they're not going to let that happen, obviously. But like,
I think Bregman also probably, either Bregman won't do that or they won't let him do that because they know that then Rafi will feel like he got showed up with that. If the guy who replaced him at third,
I'm saying like if it came down to that and they were like, listen, Breggs, like, can you do? He'd be like, yeah, sure. Like everyone else on the team would be like, if Trevor Story, if they're like,
Story would,
bro, he would move over there in a heartbeat. Honestly, I could see a scenario in which Campbell is just like, fine, fuck it. You guys are going to act like a bunch of children. I'll play first base and bring up Marcelo Meyer. Like, that's fine. Like, this is
No,
Crazy town, dude.
I think it's really I mean, it is just unbelievable. I just don't think I don't it doesn't really matter how much you're getting paid. Like this is like you are on a team and you help the team when, the opportunity arises. I mean, I'm curious about what how the conversation with John Henry went because I
Well,
heard
I
because
was
like
just pulling it up before we jumped on here. Apparently, there's no like we it's very much behind closed
yeah,
doors,
which I
and
fully
yeah.
expect, but I do wonder like I'm just curious. For one thing, I actually think it's a great sign. When I saw that John Henry was flying to Kansas City, and I guess I read that he had traveled to Texas, or
Mm.
he had been at Fenway during the Texas series. Um, just like to see like, oh my God, like John Henry is doing things for the Red Sox. Like he's actually like getting involved here, and that was something. I mean, he was not doing that last year or the year before.
No, he wants to win. I mean, I can
So
tell you that the organization wants to win. I think they're
so
like, holy shit, we have got to figure this out.
yeah, and I think that's what I mean. This is like not an existential problem, but this is a long-term problem because Devers is
Yeah.
our guy for until 2033. We're not trading him. Whoever thinks we're trading
Yeah, I
Devers,
keep seeing
like
these trade rumors. I'm like, that
all,
shit is
all
not
due respect
happening.
to Chris Rose, because I like him and he's a really smart
Not
baseball
gonna
guy, but like, what
happen.
the fuck are you talking about, dude? We're not
Yeah,
trading
they're
Devers.
not. That would be that would it would have to get much worse than this to get for
It'd have
him
to
to
get
get traded.
much worse, and we'd have to get a big return. Like, there's no way.
So I want to ask you,
Yeah.
what do you make of the translator got it wrong? Because that's a huge piece of the story. I don't speak a lick of Spanish. I do my Duolingo every day. I don't know jack, but
Yeah.
there have been a lot of people online and a lot of reports in the media that are saying this was not translated well. And my god brother, who's a big sports guy, he was saying this is apparently, and I looked into this, is true. This is apparently not the first time that that specific translator has misconstrued a couple things. So
I've heard that as well. So I think it's complicated because I don't think it's the translator's job in really any context to translate word for word what
no,
the person is saying because
it's a hard job too.
you run into linguistic issues where like things in English don't have a direct
Right.
translation in Spanish, uh, and that kind of thing. I don't know. I asked my dad about it because he obviously like his first language is Spanish, but he spoke
Mm,
Argentine Spanish, which is a whole
sure.
different flavor than um,
Dominican.
yeah. And he was like, it's hard to tell also just like from a video, but I mean, he was more or less like on like for his understanding was that Devers was saying what we all thought he was saying, which was
Okay.
that I don't really want to play first.
Gotcha.
I think it's the criticism like it's coming out like I understand where it's coming from. I think Spanish is a language where there are like so many variations of it, and that's where things can get a little crossed if you speak a different variation of Spanish than what Devers is speaking or what's being translated, then there might be some confusion there.
Mm,
Um, I also just like I don't know, it's not I'm not surprised that there's confusion, but I don't think the translator is like hiding anything from us or painting it away that it's not. I think um Devers said what was reported it was what was reported that Devers said is what Devers said.
yeah.
I think it's just like the like specific word choice might be different depending on who you ask
Right.
to translate. But generally speaking, the message is the same. It's just that Rafi does not want to play first base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I buy that. I think that's
Yeah,
probably right. It's just, dude, it's such a fucking shame. Like, it's just like, come
I know.
on, dude. Why are you being so difficult? Some people, I swear to God, bro, they are so difficult. Like, it's like
Yeah,
you don't have to be this weird about it. Like, it's just a
yeah,
bummer too, because it does now sort of look like he's in this for like not team related reasons. And I know that there is at first he's like, oh, my relationship's good with the team, but as we brought up at the beginning of this, like it doesn't sound like that's necessarily 100% the case.
yeah.
Um, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't know. It's really. I mean, It's crazy that Netflix chose last year to do the doc.
I know. I wish they'd done it this year.
I don't know. What's tricky about this one is that I guess back in spring training when it was like, no, I play third, I don't DH. Alex Cora was like, give me a minute with my guy,
Right.
and like then he does, and Devers comes back and is like, okay, I'll DH.
Right.
I don't think that that's where Cora. I don't think Cora is there either right now. I don't think
Yeah.
Cora is like, let me talk to him about playing first, because it doesn't sound like Cora is that interested in him playing first.
No, and I think your point about like what is the GM's role, I think that's a really good point. Like we actually don't know what the manager wants. Like we
Yeah,
have no idea because this has just immediately become a saga. So I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, what do you think Cora actually wants? What do you think the team wants? What do you think the guys in the clubhouse want? Like what's your take on all this?
I think that it seems to me that Devers is really, I think, just pissed off with. He's unhappy with whoever is in like in Craig Breslow's kind of role. I mean, I think Jared Carrabis pointed this out, and I think it's a really valid thing. It's like this is his third general manager. It was Dombrowski, Bloom, now Breslow. Devers has a contract at the rate at which the Red Sox swap out GMs. He's going to have two or three more above him, like while he's playing this game.
Mm,
And from his perspective, it's like, dude, why am I like listening to you bossing me around, telling me where to play? Like you're going to be here for 5 minutes. I'm here for 10 years.
mm,
I think that he's really, my sense is that he's really frustrated with Breslow, and that his attitude's not going to change until there's something worked out there in terms of like the two of them come to a understanding with one another. And I don't know
yeah.
how that happens. Um, I think Cora is probably gonna keep like kind of stay, he's gonna be neutral, but I think like kind of stay on Devers's side, protect his player, because he doesn't want this fighting, this tension to continue to like bleed into the clubhouse.
Mm,
Like that's Cora's priority right now. He's just like, let's just do what keeps Rafi happy right now, because like I do not need this mess affecting everybody.
right. Totally.
I don't know if it stays that way though. I do think at some point this season Devers is playing first. Like I think we're gonna get there.
I think it's going to happen in a matter of a month. I actually
Yeah.
think that. I think by mid June, Devers is going to be at first.
And maybe he'll excel at first, and that would be great. Maybe it's difficult, but I mean it is. I think the best version of this team requires having. It doesn't require Devers at first, but it requires Yoshida or Anthony or Meyer playing in Boston, and
Mm,
that the only way to do that is to get Rafi to play first.
yeah.
And I think that's really kind of it. But um,
I
also
think
really,
it's just one of those things that. Sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 go for it.
I just it's like you said earlier, and we've already beaten this over the head, but it immediately eliminates a massive logjam. Like it gives guys an opportunity that deserve to have an opportunity. So
Yeah,
anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say on just a separate note, because I mean I was thinking about how Devers is getting hot, and I think if he gets hot at DH, then it's gonna be harder to move him. And then I was just thinking about how Ceddanne Rafaela is making it fucking impossible to bring Roman Anthony up.
No, no. I mean, that's the thing. That's the
He's hitting
irony of this
so
whole thing
good.
is, bro. This is the only solution to get those guys up. Is
Like,
Devers has to play first base. It's actually fucked up that he's being such a he's being selfish about this. I don't like using that word, but he is being selfish about this. It's fucked because, dude, if we got one of those two guys, like it's probably gonna be Roman Anthony, but if we were
yeah,
to get one of those two guys in this lineup, bro, we would be fucking mashing fools.
yeah,
Like I literally think it's like the difference is like 5 extra wins at the end of the season to have one of those guys in our
I
lineup because
think so.
the lack of production. Unfortunately, that's the other bummer is Casas was not providing a lot of production in
No,
the lineup, so that replaces.
yeah,
Casas was never like a Gold Glove first baseman. He was in the
no,
lineup because he can hit. He just could play the position. That
yeah,
replaces a similar level defensive player with a bat that's going to be much more productive.
I agree.
And that is the irony is like you said, Rafael is hitting the cover off the ball. Abreu is fucking hitting like Barry Bonds.
Yeah, they're
And
just
so
not.
they're not moving those guys out of the outfield.
They're
Duran
gonna
is
get in the
always a
clubhouse and they're like, I hear this like kid Roman Anthony wants to come up. Fuck that guy.
nah, bro, there's no way.
Yeah,
Who's moving? And honestly, I don't think we're gonna be. I know we were talking about what could we do and what trades could we. I don't see any of the three outfielders getting traded at the
I.
deadline.
So yeah, I also just a fun little preview for everybody listening. We're gonna be talking to Jen McCaffrey from the Athletic
Hell
on
yeah.
Thursday,
Hell
I
yeah.
definitely this is going to be on the top of the list of things to ask her because
Yeah,
I
this
am
is it.
really curious about like where the organization's head is at there. I so let me ask you this. I have a very distinct memory of you and I at the Little League camp in Williamsport back
Yeah.
when we were kids. I think like I'm trying to remember who else was with us on this specific summer, but we were there when Manny got traded to the Dodgers. And
Yes.
all of that drama was playing out. And I
Yes.
was heartbroken because Manny was my favorite player, but he was
Yes.
acting. This whole thing, it's just like it takes me back. I'm like back in that
He was
dorm
like
with you.
desperate to
Like,
get out of there. That was weird. I
yeah.
remember it was just like he was like fuck this place, and it was very
And
strange.
just that I think that was the last time I've ever really felt any like really Red Sox drama remotely similar to what's happening now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think like Devers wants to leave Boston, but it is like I mean, like, yeah, he's definitely the first guy since Manny, I think, to be like making this big a deal. And I'm just like wondering, did you think about like
I was
Manny at
thinking
all?
more
Or
about being a kid, and I do remember the Nomar stuff because of my
yeah, the No More
dad.
stuff is the other thing.
That's the one that I remember the most. It's funny, I actually had almost blocked out because the thing about Manny
Mhm.
was Manny left and was good in Hollywood, Manny Wood,
Yeah,
for like half a year, and then he got popped for PEDs.
right.
And then he went to Chicago, and he was never that
Yeah,
good after that. So to me, the Manny stuff, I do remember it now that you bring it up very vividly. Actually, I'm like, oh man.
yeah,
But it was much less of a core favorite player leaving because of the PEDs that just wrecked it for me. I was like,
yeah.
fuck
I
that.
mean, yeah, hindsight, like looking at
Yeah,
it
of
later.
course. And it just marred my whole, but also because he wasn't effective for a long time afterwards.
Yeah,
Whereas Nomar went on to, his career did decline, but he was a very productive player for a decade after.
yeah. I mean, the
Yeah.
last thing we need in this case is like someone pulling a Kevin Martin. Like, we don't need Jaron Duran on ESPN
No,
being
being like,
like,
oh yeah, well he's
I'll take,
gone. Yeah.
like, I'll take
Yeah.
Devers at first. Like, I
Yeah.
don't need any of that.
Dude, you know what's interesting though? What has been popping into my head? I've said
Hmm.
there were three examples of Red Sox or former Red Sox players moving positions, and the third one is the one that has been on my mind the most. Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, did not play good first base.
Bro, he never played first base at all. He was a
Yeah,
catcher at Indiana at IU, and he was an outfielder for the most part, or a DH. And
yeah,
he did
but
his best, and
yeah.
his fucking three postseason home runs in 2021 made up for his crap glove at first.
Well, absolutely, 100%.
Like, who
You're right.
cares? Who cares? He made one error. It was a flip. I remember. He's like, oh, I remember that. But
Yeah.
like, no one cares.
No, I think that that's a great point. I don't. Yeah, what Devers is resisting is like not an uncommon thing. I mean, for God's sake, like I think again on the 10, I think they listed the players like Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols, like all like
It happens
it,
a lot.
it's
It
not
happens a lot,
uncommon.
bro. Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper, I think Bryce Harper's a different.
He had an
He wrecked
injury.
his elbow.
Yeah, but he came up as a catcher. He came up as a stud
I
catcher. Like
forgot that he came up as a catcher.
bro, he was supposed to be like the next like Yadi Molina defensively. He had like
Yeah,
a 1-8 pop time. Like it was a whole thing. He was supposed to be like the guy.
yeah,
And they were like, "Hey man, we don't want you to play catcher. You're not going to get minutes at catcher. It's not going to be good for your arm. It's not going to be good for this and that. You're going to play left field, and then you're going to play right field, and now you got injured, and then you're going to be a DH, and then you're going to be first base. Like, so yeah, the injury had something to do with it, but he wasn't supposed to be in the outfield in the first place. He was supposed to be a catcher,
that's
and
okay.
he
That's
didn't have. There was no drama from what I remember. He was just like
yeah,
fine.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think also. Well,
He
actually,
was
no. I
trying to
was
make it at the major league
yeah.
level, but like
Yeah, I also don't think the Nats. I mean, the Nats I think had catchers at that point, so it was like we don't.
they had like Wilson Ramos, but like Bryce Harper was
Yeah,
supposed to be way better than that, and I'm sure he was offended by it. He's probably like, fuck that. I can overtake Wilson Ramos, but like
yeah.
what
But
are you
also, I
gonna
think
do? Like, I don't know.
he was also. I think Bryce Harper also has always. I think kind of been like, um, one of those guys who thinks to himself like, I am the greatest or one of the greatest to do this, and like,
Yeah.
oh, you want me to like play outfield? Yeah, I'm gonna crush the outfield.
That's the
Like,
last thing I was gonna say. You beat me to it, which is so weird. Is like I still love Mookie Betts. I still have his jersey in my closet. I
yeah,
love Mookie. When they told Mookie you're going back to second base, Do you think Mookie is thinking like, fuck these motherfuckers, blah blah? No, he's like, I'm gonna be a badass fucking second baseman. I'm gonna win a goddamn Gold Glove at second base. Okay, I'm playing shortstop. I'm gonna make some crazy ass plays, and he's a pretty decent shortstop. He's not like lighting the world on fire, but I bet you he's working his ass off to be a really good shortstop. I don't understand why there's so much resistance. Like, it really makes me feel like this whole time I have not known Rafael Devers' personality at all. Because he's this goofy, he's always got that wad of tobacco in his mouth. Yeah. He's like, he got the smile. He's kind of a goofball. But I'm like, are you just a dick? Like, did I just completely not know that?
I don't know. We don't, I mean, the truth of the matter is, like, I think
we're never going to know.
Yeah, unless they do another documentary, like, we're never really going to know. I think, I don't know, Mookie is such a confident guy. He has, like, just such a, like, I also just think, like, he is like such a, like, a puppy. Like, he's just excited to, like, just be outside.
Yeah, he just likes to play baseball.
And so, like, I think that eagerness, I think, comes through. I think you talking about Mookie wanting to move to second and short makes me think, like, maybe on Devers it's a confidence thing. He's just, like, not confident in himself to move to third, and losing third was already like, oh, all of those things that people say about me not being a good third baseman, like, are validated because you're now taking me off of my position.
Right.
And now you're going to put me in a new position that's going to humiliate me even more because I'm going to suck at first.
Listen, I totally get that. And I'm all here for it. You know, if that's the case, if this is a psychoanalysis thing and he's like, hey, I'm having a lot of, like, fucking anxiety about playing because, you know, I've been humiliated playing third. Why was his response this confident, emphatic, like, fuck you? Like, the way that's the thing. You don't have to give us the details. If you're like, hey, I'm really concerned about playing first because the third base, you don't have to give us all that detail. Like, why isn't the answer just like, yeah, I'll think about it?
Yeah.
Or why isn't the answer no comment? Dude, no comment is a fucking great answer. Plead the fucking fifth, dude. Yeah. Plead the fifth. Like, you don't have to say anything.
That's a great question. I mean, I think if you wanted to be, like, really conspiratorial about it, you could say, like, oh, Rafi is, like, forcing the front office's hand by, like, being public about it and, like, hopefully by talking about it publicly, protecting himself at his position because people take his side or whatever. I don't think that's what's happening.
No, I don't think so.
What I do think is, like, I think his emotions are just running hot. I think he is clearly upset. He's flustered, and he just, like, I think he does that thing that is doing that thing that kind of we all have wanted to do before. I think he is, we've all wanted to, whether it's, like, in school or at jobs, we've been pissed with our bosses and we just kind of want to, like, wring their neck, like, in front of everybody. We want to just, like,
dude,
kick their ass in front of everybody. And we can't do that because we'll get fired. Devers doesn't have that thing holding him back. He's like, I got $300 million.
Yeah, he's the most protected. Like, he has the most job security of anybody
on
the team.
Oh, I'm pissed and I want to say something about it. Like, there's nothing stopping me from just saying anything about it.
But that's what I mean. That leads me. I actually think somewhere deep down, you're probably right about your theory of he's like, I wasn't that good at third. Like, do I really want to have to go through the, like, getting heckled, playing a new position and, like, maybe not being bad? But if that is your concern, it's like, I'll tell you this story. I don't know if my mom will ever want me telling this, but I'm going to tell the story. So my mom told me one time there was this judge. My mom was an attorney, and she had broken her foot. Mm-hmm. And she went in. She literally, like, was on crutches and, like, hobbling, and she had to wear tennis shoes to the court because her foot was so swollen, like, she couldn't wear dress shoes. And she hobbles into the court. She's on her crutches, and she gets there, and the judge fucking rips her a new one. He's like, what the fuck? You think you can wear tennis shoes in my court? This is so disrespectful. How dare you? This is a place of the law. Go back right now to your office, and I will pause the trial until you come back. And she was like, I broke my foot. And he's like, I don't care. Get your ass out. Put on dresses. So she comes in. She's, like, limping in her dress shoes because they're really uncomfortable. And then, they go through the trial, and at recess, judge hits the gavel and he says, Miss Gerardo, approach the bench. And that's my mom's last name. And so she's like, fuck, he's about to cuss me out so bad. And he goes, I'm so sorry to hear about your foot. What happened? I just broke my foot last month too. I know, it's really horrible. It's like, what the fuck is this? What is this Jekyll and Hyde shit? So, like, that just reminded me, like, if that's really the case and Devers is like, man, the GM's got it out for me. I don't know what his problem is with me. And then he's like, but actually it's because I'm kind of scared to play first base. I'm like, dude, that's so fucked. Like, that's not cool.
That's the other interesting thing about what he said is, like, Breslow has he played for 12 years. Like, he
Yeah,
should
bro,
know
he
that
was a
it's a
good
big deal
player.
to ask you to move positions. And I'm like, yeah, I bet Craig Breslow knows that it's a big deal. But
Yeah,
he's
I don't
only
think he's
asking,
diminishing that it's not a big deal.
yeah,
But like,
but he's only asking because Tristan Casas doesn't have a fucking left knee. Like,
yeah.
that's what it
Also,
is.
like, dude, the, I don't want to diminish this, but the position. Then he made that comment. This is the thing that really made me irritated. He made that comment. If they needed a center fielder, would they just ask me to go play center field? No, Dick, because you're not a fucking outfielder. Why would
I
they put you in center field? You can't run. Like, why would they put you in center?
Yeah, I
That's
also
a
just thought
ridiculous comment to make.
I thought that was just funny because I'm like, dude, we have Roman Anthony, right?
That is
Like we
ridiculous. Like, bro, that's what I'm saying. He's like, he doesn't. He's taking this shit so personally.
he's
And I'm
taking it
like,
really
dude,
personally.
none of this is personal, dude.
Yeah.
0% of this is personal. If we fucking try you at first base and your ass,
Yeah.
we'll figure out another solution. It's not a big deal, but we have to try it.
I absolutely. I think yeah, I think
Crazy
that
town.
I feel like if I'm in the front office, I'm like Breslow at this point. I think the goal is, yeah, like let's go to Rafi at first. And if that doesn't work, like I'm sure like right now Craig Breslow was planning for a scenario where like at the trade deadline, adding a first base is like at the top of the priority sheet.
Yeah, of course.
Like, but I think he's like, let's just see if this works. And if it doesn't, I swear to God, like I'll go get us a first baseman. But
Yeah,
like,
he's
let's
just not
just,
being a team player,
you
man.
know, if this works, then it's like that. There's so many more opportunities.
It's so funny because now, of course, like I said, all my friends who are not Red Sox fans but baseball fans, they're all like, "Dude, you're about to get Sandy Alcantara. They're gonna trade Devers and get Sandy." I'm like, "Bro,
Dude,
no, they're fucking not.
have you looked at
That's
Sandy Alcantara's line this
he's
season?
not. He's not been
He's
very good.
ass. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's not been very good.
it's Tommy John surgery, I get it, but like he's not. We're not trading for him.
No, and that's just not going to
Yeah.
happen. But I think it's incredible to me. I'm like, Jesus, we're already having the trade talks now because of this shit. Like,
I mean, I think we can. I mean, I'm fully prepared to ask Jen McCaffrey about trades on later this week because I do wonder. I mean, I do imagine like the Red Sox are going to want to get a high leverage reliever or two
yeah,
in. Even though our bullpen's been like holding it together the last few days.
mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I don't know if a starter is going to be a priority for them, but
I
I
don't
do.
think they necessarily need to be anymore, bro. I mean, we should just because we're on, we should talk
Yeah,
about the series this weekend. But
yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
Yeah,
dude, like Giolito looks really good, man. I mean,
I, dude, I
you
was so
know,
nervous yesterday. I was like, or yeah, today, I guess. Yeah, it was today. I was like, Giolito. I was like, please, for the love of God.
bro, he looks real good, man. He
Seven
looks real
innings.
good. Yeah, 7 innings and 1 run.
Yeah,
7 innings, 1 run. Yeah,
he pitched great. I was really happy. I've been really happy with how the bullpen's been. Like Justin
mm-hmm.
Wilson, Weissert have all been good.
Yeah,
Garrett Crochet, man, I just the
disgusting,
goat. Like disgusting.
disgusting.
That like I I missed it live, but I went back obviously and like watched highlights. The bases loaded strikeout on Bobby Witt
Insane,
Jr.
bro. Insane,
just in
insane.
it's so good to have an ace. And I
Yeah,
really
you
I
really
think
need one. I mean, you actually
yeah,
like need one at this level. Like you have to have a frontline
yeah.
ace. And he's kind of like the 2017, 2018 first half Chris Sale where you're like, okay, well, that's a win. Like, cool. You know?
Yeah, and I'm gonna pull up the numbers right now, but just like in general, I mean, the first game offensively like was tough, but we kind of I mean, we just unlocked in games 2 and 3, and
Yeah.
it was really awesome. This is one of those things where I'm like, okay, the Royals were absolutely a team that we needed to win a series against. We needed 2 out of 3 against them because they're the hottest team in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Now we go from taking 2 out of 3 against the Royals to going to play the Tigers, who are the best team in the American League.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's like beating them feels a lot more doable, which is what we want. Like this is where we want to get hot.
Yeah, I mean this is like a pivotal moment in the season to be honest. And we've talked
Yeah.
about it before. You need like those 3 periods where you get really really hot. We haven't quite had one yet. We've had a couple like, oh, they're starting to catch fire. Oh, no, they cooled off. Like it'd be
Yeah.
really great to fire off like 5 series wins in a row and start with Kansas City and Detroit, you know.
I completely agree. I mean, it would just be and then to come home and then I think that would just be it's really important that we at the very least take 2 out of 3 from the Tigers,
Yeah,
which is gonna be
100%.
so hard to do, but I mean I definitely believe that we can do it. Okay, the thing that I was looking up was I just wanted to talk about Um, even though, oh, come on, calendar, show me the other game. Even though we lost game one against the Royals,
Hmm.
uh, just our starters in this series were fantastic. Obviously, Crochet and Giolito, but uh, even even Dobbins, like every single one of our guys went six or more innings and struck out five or more guys.
Crazy.
Like and allowed a combined two runs between our
Yeah.
starters because Dobbins didn't allow a run.
I
Like,
mean, that's like, yeah, I don't know, man. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, we actually don't need that much to be a lot better.
no,
That's
we
the
really
that's
don't.
that's why this is so fucking frustrating. Is it's like, bruh, if you just move positions, just to bring it back
Yeah.
to what we started and what we should go through
Yeah.
the series, but if you just fucking nut up and move positions, even for one season, no one's saying next season you have to play there if you don't want
That's
to, but
right.
like, if you do it this season and we bring up, let's say it's Anthony,
Yeah.
and he hits even 260 at the big league level
Hmm.
and, hits 15 homers and drives in 45, 50 runs, that amount of production compared to this sort of like hag tag, like, okay, we're bringing up Abraham Toro and then we're going to throw in, who's the other guy they had playing first base
We had
today?
Nick Sogard today.
Nick Sogard, right? Who
Yeah.
he had a nice hit, but like,
Yeah.
that's not a major league first base platoon.
Right.
That's a triple A first
Yeah.
base platoon. So
Yeah.
that difference right there is the difference between 86 wins and a third wild card / you're not in and winning the division.
Yeah. I do. I mean, I think even if they were like, hey, Rafi, if you do this, play first this one season, if you like it, then great. You can stay at first. If you don't like it, like, then you're done after the season. We'll go back to finding, we'll go back and find another like permanent solution for first base if it's not Casas, which I don't
Yeah, it
think
doesn't
will
have to be this. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be permanent at all. No one ever said it has to be
I mean,
permanent.
I think if they're trying to pitch it to him as permanent, I think they're making a huge mistake. But
And maybe, dude, this is the other thing is like maybe he'll fucking like it a lot and be
Yeah.
like, damn, actually, I'll stay.
I think that's very possible.
Bro, I
But-
didn't think I would like heroin until. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, like, I don't know. He just needs to be more open to possibilities. I think baseball is a sport in which we have seen, I think there's more like quote unquote miracle moments in baseball than a lot of
Yeah.
other sports. And this could be one of those where you're like, wow, we just found a fucking sick first baseman by accident for like the next 7 years.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, cool, you tried it, didn't really work. Next year we'll get somebody else. No
This
biggie.
is one of the things about baseball that is like unique from other sports where like the positions are so specialized
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard to, to move from one to the other, arguably. I think 'cause
Yeah.
in football, you're not moving. I mean, no one's moving into the quarterback position from another and vice versa. Like,
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is not moving to like safety.
Yeah, no. I mean, the most we've seen is like a corner becoming a safety, or
Yeah.
a wide receiver can sometimes go into a corner position later and play defensively, but it's pretty unusual.
Yeah.
I mean,
But in
Yeah.
soccer, like, do guys like just are
yeah,
guys really
they do.
moving around?
Guys are much
positions?
more interchangeable.
Yeah.
Guys are very. I mean, the concept of total football, which is like, I mean, they talk
I've
about
seen
it.
Ted Lasso. I know what
Yeah, I
Ted
was gonna say
football
Ted Lasso.
is.
Yeah, so that's a Dutch. I think it was in the '60s with Johan Cruyff. It became basically everybody plays every position. So
Mhm.
like you start with like a typical 4-4-2. There's two strikers, there's four midfielders, four defenders, and the goalkeeper. But even the goalkeeper can bring the ball up sometimes and dribble out of his box and distribute the ball. So total football is sort of that in a nutshell. It's like, okay, cool, I'm striker, but maybe I'll drop back and play, in the defensive playmaker role, and then, maybe I'll go back up and play on the wing. We see that pretty frequently, but you're right. Baseball, the positions are specialized. The irony again is third base and first base are the two most similar fucking positions on the diamond.
Yeah.
Even second to short is a harder switch. I play second base, and I'm on the team I'm on now. I struggle to play shortstop. I've done it, and if the team asked me, I would do it.
Yeah.
I would definitely say
Right.
yes. But I'm not as good at shortstop. I'm much better at second base. I don't know why I like the right side of the infield more. But I've played every infield position, and you can make that switch. It's not impossible. Obviously, the balls I'm getting hit are coming at me at about 90 miles an hour. The balls in the majors are coming at them at about 120. But
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a difference.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, so I don't know. Let's go through the series just with Kansas City because it was. I know we talked about the pitching, but
Yeah.
a big I think a really important, hopefully milestone series. I was hoping Cleveland would be that way for us.
Yeah.
Beating the Guardians away could have kickstarted a huge one of these 3 runs that we need to go on. I think this is going to do it. Being away in Kansas City, a place that's been tough for teams to get wins, a team that's heating up and has a lot of power offensively.
Yeah.
And we faced Cole Reagans, we faced Seth Lugo, who pitched yesterday for them.
No, yesterday was Reagan's.
Who pitched that game 1?
Who pitched? That's a great.
I don't remember who it was. He actually did really well. I mean, that game was 0-0 into the 11th.
Let's see. That game was Lorenzen.
Oh yeah, Lorenzen.
So we went up against a decent
those are
like
their guys.
Trio.
Michael Lorenzen, who rakes, by the way, amazing hitting pitcher. Yeah, I don't know. I think that could be this could be a huge jumping off point for us. Offensively, obviously, Sands game 1, clutch hits, really, really important. Devers did go off. Abreu went off. I would love to see Story pick it up again. He's been a little cold. He had a hit today. I know
he had a home run yesterday, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He did a crazy home run. It was a weird low pitch that he kind of went down on his knee and got. But he's swinging well. He's one of these guys who I think he makes a lot of contact. He hasn't been striking out as much, but he's just hitting it right to people, and that's going to happen from time to time.
He's also a guy who, like, how he does. It does seem like how he performs correlates with how the team does.
Yeah.
Like when he's cold, we're cold, and
yeah.
So I'm glad to see that he's kind of getting hot again, or at least like
out of a funk,
less cold.
Yeah, he's making contact. But I'm so stoked about my Wilyer Abreu pick. I'm like living and dying by that. I keep telling people, dude, I told everyone he's gonna be sick this year, and he just hit his 10th homer, 11th, 10th. Yeah,
on pace for 38.
Crazy, dude. Like that's amazing. Even if he hits 28, like that's a great season.
Yeah, I mean. It's kind of crazy how he and Rafael are just having like breakout years, and Duran is like, I mean, Duran's fine. It's just like so funny because he had such a huge year last year, and I mean, we always said it was gonna be hard for him to keep up with that. Like, I guess keep up with that trajectory from 2024, but
it's not been as good. I mean, his OPS dipped below 700 today.
It did, yeah.
Whereas, dude, Devers is up to like 850 again.
888.
Bro, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like a week ago, he was at like 650, 660.
No, I mean, our 2 through 5 is, Devers, Bregman, Abreu. It's 888, 951, and 931.
Crazy.
Like, that is. Also, let's talk about Narvaez.
Yeah, and on top of that, we didn't have. Yeah, Narvaez has been cracking the ball. He had a double today, hit a home run yesterday. He's been cracking the ball. We didn't even have our starter. Christian Campbell. Yeah, he's our starter. 100% he's our starter. Yeah. He's a better defensive catcher, too, I think.
Why? Let me ask you this. Why do we keep giving David Hamilton starts?
I don't really know.
I'm not
100% sure.
I'm so confused.
He's going to be a trade piece.
He's got to be.
I mean, maybe they're probably just trying to bring his trade stock up. Like, if he has a good run of games.
Yeah,
they'll probably be like,
he was 0 for 4. So.
Yeah, he hasn't been great. I don't know. He's just not. Excuse me. Sorry, he's not getting on base. Like he doesn't draw a lot of walks. He doesn't really hit the ball. It's too bad. I do like him. I think he's a good player, but I think he's gonna be trade fodder for sure.
I don't know if you have heard about this yet, but do you know what the matchup is? We play the Braves starting on Friday.
Yes.
Do you know what the matchup is on Friday?
Crochet Sale.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, that's
Chris Sale versus Chris Sale 2.0.
I mean, that's a game I'm like, I gotta watch all of that.
How has Chris Sale been this year? I haven't really kept up with. I know the Braves are like not great.
They've kind of bounced back to 500, I think.
Yeah, but we knew they would end up being good. But people picked them to like win the division, and I think they've been.
Chris Sale's doing. He's okay. He's okay. He's got a 4.07 ER. Oh wait, actually no, that's out of date. I hate that Baseball Reference doesn't update after games end. It's 397.
Okay.
And he's got 64 strikeouts on the season, which is like not bad. I mean, actually, I think it's pretty good.
I mean, the guy already won his Cy Young now. If I'm, he has so much less pressure on him. He's like, cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's hang on, I want to actually just make sure that I'm right about that. Yeah, Chris Sale is 7th in strikeouts.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty sick. Yeah.
Sorry, my feeder's going off.
No, you're good. The
Um,
NL East is so interesting.
he
Weird.
trying to see. Yeah, Crochet has like one more strikeout than Sale. Dude, Mackenzie Gore on the
Oh,
Nats,
disgusting.
75
Disgusting.
strikeouts.
The Nats are, I know their record doesn't indicate it right now. They've been on a bit of a skid, but they're a good team. They're going to be good in the next few years.
They're gonna be definitely gonna be good in the next few years.
Yeah.
That's
Also, just the NL East in general is such a crazy division right now. Like, the Braves are crawling back. The Mets, I think, are second best record in baseball right now. Pete Alonso is hitting like fucking bear. I need to pick somebody else.
Mets
hitting-
and Tigers are both second to the Dodgers.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I just think versus this next run of games, it's against really competitive teams. But if we can, again, fire off, if we can get 4 out of 6 series wins in these next 6, that's major, major, big time. Because we don't see, I mean, we talked about that. We don't see the Yankees until July.
Yeah.
We have the Mets coming up.
Also,
I think we have literally Tigers, Braves, Mets, Orioles. Is that right?
It's Tigers, Braves, Mets, Orioles, and then Brewers, and then Braves again.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking. Oh, and then Angels come to Papa.
Dude, I'm so bummed that I am not gonna be in LA when they come to Anaheim.
Bummer. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I go every year.
Yeah, you gotta go. I mean, you gotta.
I have not missed a Red Sox Angels series. I've missed a couple of the games, but I've never missed a series. I always go see at least 2 of them.
We're wrong. We play the Yankees twice in June.
Oh yeah, here they are.
Yeah, June 6th, and then
dude, this is a huge chunk of our schedule right here. This is like a big deal. These next 6 series, literally, Tigers, Braves, Mets, O's, Brewers, Braves. That's a crazy 6 series right there until we get to the Angels.
I mean, we have to do well. We
have to get 4 out of 6 in series total. Like they have to.
Yeah.
4 games set with the O's, and that's the only 4 gamer. Everything else is 3.
The O's, I mean,
the O's are not great, but
yeah, is it time
they're
to
always a bogey team, you know?
That's true. But I'm so shocked by how I didn't know they were gonna be this bad.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they would. I picked them to get to the playoffs, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's just like, it's weird too because they lost Santander, who's not playing well.
Yeah.
And they lost Burns, who obviously is doing well, but it's weird that like one of their 2 big pieces who left is also playing really poorly. It's just they haven't picked up any offensive production. I mean, Holiday hasn't been good. It's too bad.
O'Neal's injured again.
Yeah, they've had a lot of injuries. I think
that dude's made of glass.
Yeah, he is, but I mean, it's weird because he looks like he's like indestructible.
Actually,
you know what? Jackson Holiday's not doing that badly. He's been okay. Anyway, that's just my take. I think these next 6 series, we got to win 4 of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's really all we wanted to go through. I just think this is just a crazy fucking saga. Again, I would hope in the next 2 weeks this will be resolved and we just won't have to talk about it anymore. But I think by mid-June, Devers is going to have innings at first base.
I think that's right.
So,
all right. Well, everybody, we'll be back on Friday as usual.
Our usual scheduled time.
Yeah. Spotify, Apple, YouTube,
all
the stack. You know the deal.